today the MCQ that we are about to discuss is from antiprotozoal and anti-amoebic drugs. Okay, so the first question that I have here is metronidazole is tissue amoebocytes, liminal amoebocytes, blood amoebocytes and lymph node amoebocytes. So whenever you are studying about any drugs or any kinds of anti-drugs, you have to understand its classification. You must know everything. Okay, if you are in your first and second year, obviously classification is very important. In your internal exam, in your practicals, in your viva, in your boards, everywhere you will be asked about the classification. So the classification from antiprotozoal and anti-amoebic drug is also important. Many of you must be familiar with metronidazole and term like albendazole and many things. So I want to know you metronidazole is in which classification does it falls, in tissue amoebocytes, luminal amoebocytes, blood amoebocytes or lymph node amoebocytes. So to know its answer, which one is the correct one, let us first go into the depth of this question. First of all, antiprotozoal or anti-amoebic drugs, they are classified into two types. One is tissue amoebocyte and the second is luminal amoebocyte. Okay, so obviously these are not the answer to this question. Tissue amoebocytes and luminal amoebocytes. So this antiprotozoa, this amoeba, they can go to different parts of the body like stomach, okay, intestine, liver, or they may excreted as feces from our body. Okay, they can invade a different part. So because of the reason, it is classified into two types, that is tissue amoebocytes and luminal amoebocytes. Luminal amoebocyte means that attacks on the intestine. Those protozoa, those amoeba which remains in our intestine, they are killed by luminal amoebocytes, whereas in stomach, liver or in any other systemic part of the body, if they are present, then they are killed by tissue amoebocytes. Okay, so metronidazole, tissue amoebocytes and luminal amoebocytes. If they are present in the intestine, that is known as the luminal amoebocytes, whereas it is present in the tissue, it is known as the tissue amoebocytes. Now this was about what is luminal amoebocytes and the tissue amoebocytes. Now let us further go to ask the tissue amoebocytes. In the tissue amoebocytes also you have further two classification. In the tissue amoebocytes also you have two classification, which is intestinal and extra intestinal. It means that if whether this amoeba is inside the intestine or it is outside of the intestine, which is also known as a mixed, they are killed, okay, by intestinal and extraintestinal amoebocytes. But and next classification is extra intestinal. So again the tissue amoebocytes are classified into mixed and extraintestinal, and luminal amoebocytes, there is no classification, that is just luminal amoebocytes. In this intestinal and extraintestinal, that is mixed type, the drugs that are present here are, okay, now you should know it. So metronidazole, okay, tinidazole, omeprazole. Whereas in extraintestinal, drug that is present is chloroquine. And in the luminal amoebocytes, the drug that is present, okay, in the luminal amoebocyte, the drug that is present here I'll just show you in this way, is the diloxamide FURATE. I always get confused with this name, furate, and tetracycline and iodoquinol. So these are the drugs, okay, which I have classified here. So intestinal, extraintestinal, and luminal amebocytes. So these are the drugs. You should remember it. Now from this classification, I hope you are clear that metronidazole is mixed type, which falls under the tissue amebocytes. So this is the correct answer for the classification of metronidazole. Okay, this is the correct answer for the metronidazole. So this metronidazole acts by disrupting the DNA of these amoebas. Okay, it disrupts the DNA replication, transcription, and DNA repair process. So this is all about the mechanism of action of metronidazole. So now let's move to the next question. So the next question that we have is tissue amebocytes kill. Okay, so tissue amebocytes kill whether the trophozoite or cyst or both or no effect. So in which form of these amoebas or protozoas are killed by tissue amebocytes? Okay, the protozoa usually remain in two forms, that is trophozoite and the cyst. Okay, trophozoite and the cyst. So cysts are a little bit difficult to kill than trophozoites. Tissue amebocytes, they generally kill only trophozoites, they do not kill the cyst. Okay, they are not effective for the cyst. So these tissue amebocytes, they are effective, or they are drug of choice, okay, in the amoebic dysentery, and amoebic liver abscess. Okay, they are effective in amoebic dysentery, or they are drug of choice. They are drug of choice in the amoebic dysentery and the amoebic liver abscess, and they are effective for the trophozoite form of these protozoas. They are also the drug of choice in giardiasis and trichomoniasis. So why I have mentioned them is because sometimes you might ask, okay, from in which kind of in which kinds of this amoeba or protozoa this metronidazole can be effective, and at that time you can tell that okay, it is effective for the amoebic dysentery, amoebic liver abscess. They are effective against giardiasis, trichomoniasis. Okay, and they are also used in treatment of the anaerobic bacterial infection. Okay, sometimes metronidazole is also used, or tissue amebocytes are also used for the treatment of anaerobic bacterial infections like endocarditis. Just remember, okay, these are some important points, just I have mentioned them so that you will get the excess knowledge. So this is, and the next thing is, if we have studied peptic ulcer, then there you can see that in triple, quadruple, and sequential rhizome, there is the presence of these tissue amoebicidal drugs. Okay, tissue amoebicidal drugs, they are present in S. pylori induced peptic ulcer, Helicobacter pylori induced peptic ulcer in triple, quadruple, and the sequential rhizome. Triple, quadruple, and the sequential rhizome. So this is, at least you should know these points about tissue amebocytes. They kill the trophozoites. They are used in amoebic dysentery and amoebic liver abscess. They are also used for the treatment of anaerobic bacterial infections like endocarditis, brain abscess, and post-surgical infections. They are used in triple, quadruple, and the sequential rhizome of peptic ulcer, S. pylori induced peptic ulcer. They are also the drug of choice for giardiasis and trichomoniasis. So this was all about question number 2. I hope that please mention these points, please learn it about it, because these are also very important. So now let's move to question number 3. So before moving to question number 3, I think in this question only I would like to insert this point, where is the dose. Okay, what is the dose regime for these drugs of TCU-MeB side? Obviously we should know what kind of dose we should give for which drug. So for the metronidazole, okay, for the metronidazole you need to give the drug dose that is, so metronidazole is given 400 mg, okay, by oral route thrice a day, okay, by oral route thrice a day for 7 days, okay, for 7 days in giardiasis and amoebiasis. So 400 mg by oral route thrice a day for 7 days in giardiasis and amoebiasis. So this was about metronidazole. So if you want to know more, then I can give of secnidazole. Okay, so about secnidazole also, let's learn about two of them. So secnidazole, you have to give 2 gram by oral route, okay, single dose, by oral route single dose in giardiasis, I'm writing in short form, okay, amoebiasis and trichomoniasis. So this was about the doses form. So now let's move to the question number 3. So the next question that we have, that question number 3, is the most common adverse effect of TCU-MeB side. So I have not directly written here the names of these drugs. I have just mentioned TCU-MeB sites. So it's your job to memorize them. Okay, please memorize them to know that, okay, what are the drugs that falls under TCU-MeB sites. Okay, you should know that very well. So if you have forgotten that, let me remind you. Okay, that TCU-MeB sites that divide into 2 parts. That is the intestinal and extraintestinal amoebic sites, that is mixed, and the extraintestinal amoebic site. So in the mixed type there was metronidazole, tinidazole, secnidazole, ornidazole, whereas in extraintestinal amoebic site there was chloroquine. Now I have asked you the most common adverse effect of TCU-MeB sites. So whenever you are prescribing the drug to a patient, obviously they are gonna ask you with you, okay, what is the adverse effect, if there is some adverse effect or not. So you have to answer them. So the most common adverse effect that you can see from TCU-MeB sites are nausea and vomiting, epigastric pain, and metallic taste. So these are the specific. You might be asked, what is the metallic taste is the adverse effect of? You might be asked with given question where you might be asked TCU-MeB sites or any other drug name of TCU-MeB sites, and you have to answer that, okay, it is in this part. Okay, metallic taste. Metallic taste is also given by the iron that we have, okay, iron tablet also. So you have to know, okay, very well that what are the adverse effects of which kinds of drugs, what are they having and why are they getting such kind of thing. Nausea, vomiting, if there is epigastric pain, and also there is metallic taste, that means that is the adverse effect of the TCU-MeB sites. Okay, this is question number 3. Now let's move to question number 4. So I have made a mistake here. So let me tell you that till now whatever we have learned, that was a classification to adverse reaction to other questions, that is 2, 3 and 4. It was about first question was definitely about the amoebic drugs. After that what we have learned was about the mixed type of the TCU-MeB sites. Okay, it was the mixed type of the TCU-MeB sites. So this adverse effect are peculiarly of the mixed type of TCU-MeB sites. Okay, where there was metronidazole, where there was a secnidazole. It was not of the chloroquine. Okay, let me tell you that it was not of chloroquine. All of the thing that we have discussed here was mainly focused for the mixed type of the TCU-MeB site. So In the question number 4, the question you have is which of the following should not be given with alcohol? Metronidazole, chloroquine, tetracycline and diloxanide. So this is also important because okay, if you have prescribed some drug and they consume alcohol and they might get certain symptoms, so you need to know which drug is contraindicated for which kind of things. So metronidazole is not given with the alcohol. This is the correct answer, because if you take metronidazole and alcohol, so it alcohol, so metronidazole, what it does is inhibits the aldehyde dehydrogenase. Okay, it inhibits the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme, and because of which the patient might suffer with nausea, vomiting, hot flush, exhaustion. So this might happen, so metronidazole should not be given with the alcohol. This was question number 4. Now let's move to question number 5. In the previous question, that question number I think 2 or 3, I had asked about metronidazole is active against cyst, trophozoite, both or none. So now I have come with the liminal amibicide, that is diloxanide furoate, which is active against. So the same question, the answer for this, it is cyst. So diloxanide furoate is active against cyst, whereas that mixed or extraintestinal, they are active against the trophozoite, and this is not active against the trophozoite. So this is about the diloxanide furoate. So more thing that you should know about diloxanide furoate is that it is usually given with the metronidazole. It is given with the metronidazole. It is not given again. That is 500 mg, okay, by oral route thrice a day for 10 days. So it is usually given with diloxanide furoate. It is usually given with metronidazole 500 mg by oral route thrice a day for the 10 days. Okay, it is usually used for histolytic infection, and the adverse effect of diloxanide furoate is the flatulence. Okay, you know what is flatulence. So it is flatulence. This is the common complaint. So there is nothing more about it from the diloxane. And so question number 6 is surely an important question. So during COVID-19 infection, there were certain drugs which were thought to be very useful for it. They were not the fixed kind of drugs, or they were not the ultimate drug for the COVID-19, but they were used in certain phases for certain treatment in the COVID-19. So antiprotozoal drug was also used. Maybe most of you must have an idea about it. Okay, so which antiprotozoal drug was it? It is especially known as anti-malarial drug, which is chloroquine. Anti-malarial drug which is known as chloroquine. So chloroquine we have studied here also, as in the extraintestinal amibicides. Okay, extraintestinal amibicide. So this chloroquine is used as an antiprotozoal drug for the COVID-19 infection, and it is chloroquine, which is also known as the hydroxychloroquine, is believed to interfere with the virus host cell, and it fuses with the virus host cell by increasing the pH of the viral endosome, and or to allow the gene influx to the viral cell that inhibits RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So the basic thing that is that, okay, this chloroquine usually in the COVID-19 virus, it was thought that okay, it interferes with the fusion of virus with the host cell, and it increases the pH, okay, pH of the viral endosome. Okay, viral endosome. The first thing it used to do is it increases the pH of the viral endosome, and also it allows the zinc influx to the virus cell that inhibits the RNA dependent RNA polymerase because of zinc in flux. So I have not mentioned you or given your detailed answer about it because it is not needed in this MCQ question. Maybe we will talk about it later on when we are specifically solving the question of COVID. but right now you should know that chloroquine was supposed to use, and why? Because it increases the pH of the viral endosome by interfering with the virus, and also sorry, the zinc influx the zinc influx led to the inhibition of the RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So this was about question number 6. So now in this way we have completed our 6 MCQs. There were 6 MCQs, but we got to know a lot of things. We learned adverse effect, we learned mechanism of action, and many more things. Please memorize, each of them are important, doses are important, you should know everything from here. I hope that you liked my video. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. In my channel I will be uploading a lot of MCQs in every topic, and obviously I will also be explaining them, so you will get two knowledge from one video. So please do like this channel, and please hit the bell icon for further notification. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.